Hello from Lafarge Wholesome. I'm Derek Scotton, a market manager for the Mid Central Sales Group. First and foremost, we hope you, your families, and employees are healthy and safe. As you know, COVID-19 will continue to impact our lives and the way all of us approach our day-to-day business. As our country continues to reopen, many of our customers have reached out seeking information on a variety of topics relating to the subject. We've received a lot of questions from customers from all over the country, and your questions inspired us to think about how we share some of our best practices that we've been implementing throughout our own organization. Over the next few weeks, we'll be hosting a series of panel discussions around these topics and will feature a variety of subject matter experts across our organization in the U.S. They're looking forward to sharing their insights with you, and we're looking forward to your feedback. In today's webinar, we're going to talk about how COVID-19 will continue to shape safety and how we all can operate safely under these new circumstances. Our panel is going to talk about some of the changes we've made to our terminals and what customers can expect. And they're also going to share some ideas from around the country. Let me introduce our three subject matter experts. First, Scott Jacoby, Head of Health and Safety for U.S. Lafarge Wholesome. Mike Mertzloff, Area Manager, Finished Mills and Terminal. Benoit Cotenoir, Area Sales Manager for Cement Southern Region. And let's begin with Scott. Scott, we had a question come in, from customers, and they're all wondering kind of, what is Lafarge Wholesome doing as a company to adjust to these changing times?
Yeah, hey, great question, Derek, and we're really happy to share this information. Anything that can help keep somebody safe in our industry is really important to us. And from a basic starting point, first, I hope each of you and your families are doing well through the pandemic. And business has changed. So if you've been referring to COVID-19 as a distraction, you may consider that it's time to start thinking of it in a different way when it comes to safety. This is really our new normal, and it's not going to be going away anytime soon. From a basic starting point, this is very important. State and local mandates are likely to be in place already everywhere you're operating. And at a minimum, these must be followed. Make sure you have a process to stay current on these requirements. From our standpoint, to secure your workplace, though, you have to consider your overall guiding principles, the actions that you're going to take. Certainly, we all want everyone healthy and family safe, and to do this, you're going to need it. You're going to need to have some things in place: testing, surveillance, screening of employees before they entering. From a strict practices process, you need separation with your employees, and this separation is not just space, like built-in distancing requirements. It's also time, like staggering shifts that create separation during both the start of shift and even while people are simply eating lunch, right? Next thing is personal health measures. Really applying good hygiene practices at all times, and that's at work and at home. Your policies and behaviors related to personal conduct. Carefully consider, where you go in your personal time, and you as a company should have a process to backstop this and related to that responsibility that each and every person has out there. Policies follow for a return to work training. These should be part of a clear and ongoing communication process that you have as a company. At Lafarge Wholesome, we took early and aggressive steps to protect our employees. I think two of these are really significant with what we did. Very first, we adopted a site screening program of everyone entering our facilities in early March. Now, I realize these screenings are very commonplace now. I had one before I went and got a haircut recently, but they certainly were not yet at that time. We benefited from this process almost immediately, and I mean immediately in the first hour, where a vendor had come in and was already established filling all of our vending machines that we have in our facilities. That would have created a real contact transmission issue for us. We did the screening on them while I was filling them. We ended up replacing and taking everything out that had been filled by this person that frankly wasn't acting in a responsible way, where they knew were likely COVID positive. Second thing we did was we put together work group pods. So how we did this, we basically arranged people into small work groups, and these work groups remain together through the pandemic and remain together even right now. These pods don't have any contact with each other. Our goal, and we were really successful, was to eliminate or reduce on-site transmission. And I'm really happy, and so is everyone at LaFarge Holcim, to say we have not had a single person in the United States contract COVID-19 from a work-related exposure. Now, look, there's a lot of things you got to think about when it comes to COVID-19, and there's some other steps that likely you'll see just when you're out and about in the workplace. So some things that we think are specifically important is limiting your non-essential people at your facilities, right? Don't bring in needless risks when you don't have to. You really need some rigorous cleaning and disinfecting of your workspace programs and policies. Make sure you've got available PPE and those cleaning materials that you're going to need. Try and minimize your operational changes where support may be limited, right? The next thing, you have to monitor your employees' mindfulness. Stress and fatigue are real issues, right? Real issues that we have to address that aren't common for us to take head on in this way. And maybe a simple thing, electronic tickets. What can you do to eliminate signing for your employees and others in the workplace? And from that standpoint, others, likely you've already banned travel, and there's other things that you've done to protect your employees, and please keep up those efforts. Don't let up on sustaining what you're doing. So let's talk specifically about ready mix safety. And it's extremely important is understanding and limiting driver contact with the public during work hours, right? If you have a subject employee that's COVID positive and they potentially allow a member of the public to contract that disease while they are working for your company, you're going to have some challenges that you're likely going to have to go through. Subset of understanding all of this is having contact tracing program in place. The CDC now has some public offerings on this, but ensure you have a process as well, easily available. If not, reach out to your salesperson at LaFarge Holcim. We'll help guide you on this path. If you have a person that contracts COVID-19 from a work-related exposure, this is now considered an OSHA recordable incident. It must be included on your annual OSHA log. Maybe specific to your operations in your batch room, increased cleaning frequency, no employee gatherings, and look at your ventilation, right? How many air exchanges are you doing? You got to properly maintain HVAC system. Vehicle cab cleaning and disinfecting. Make sure you have a prescriptive list of those contact areas. A lot of them often get missed. It's not just steering wheels and door handles, it's switches, displays, grab handles, consoles. Have a clear list. Make sure everyone understands what that list is, and try and assign those vehicles if possible. It might not be possible. If you could be one person for one vehicle, it's like having a subset of that pod technology, that pod system that I just talked about. Cloth face coverings. They should be wearing outside when social distancing is hard to maintain, right? It's not about protecting them from others. It's about protecting you from other people, right? And I'm sorry, it's about protecting other people from you. That's why you wear it. Make sure I said that correctly because I said it backwards. And yeah, I think that's it. I think you're going to hear some great things about what sales and commercial people can do in related to COVID as well. And I'm looking forward to hearing them share. Derek, thanks. Back
Scott,
to you.
thank you, Scott. Now we have Mike. Mike, one of our biggest questions we've had, and we've had it asked several times to several different market managers, and is basically, what is LaFarge Holcim doing in our plants and terminals to safeguard our customers as well as employees?
Okay, thanks, Derek. Maybe first thing I want to talk about a little bit is what we're making use of that was already in place that just plays right into some of the coronavirus guidelines. And the first thing, as Scott said, a lot of our operations have remained open. So we've been adapting as time has gone to these new guidelines, basically on the fly. A few of the things that we're making use of to just help ourselves meet those guidelines are our auto hatch program, which a lot of drivers and customers are taking advantage of. That involves installing a auto hatch on top of their trailers that they can open and close from the truck or from the trailer without having to climb up onto our safety racks, and use those communal facilities that multiple users may be using. So it just kind of helps keep the distance from the drivers and other customers. Another system that we've been using for a long time now, that we just continue to use and continues to assist in our efforts to maintain distance, is our Ssl system. So that allows a driver or a customer to come in, load their truck, pick their destination, pick their weight, and then get their BOLs and get out the door without any contact to our employees coming into an office or anything like that. And that's, again, something that we've been doing for a long time. So we have a lot of drivers, a lot of customers that are already in that system and able to make use of it. And then some simple things that, again, have always been there. We're just making more heavily use of our communications, whether it be call boxes at the Ssl kiosks, radios, CB radios, plant radios, or just cell phones, where a driver or customer can just call into the loading office now, give their details, get loaded, and then get their BOLs from a satellite location. Again, eliminating, just keeping that distance from us and the customers and drivers for their safety and for ours. Some things that have changed, again, lots of new guidelines and requirements or regulations out there today. Lafarge Holcim's either met or exceeded those guidelines in all cases. So there is an increased PPE on site. So the people that are working on site, the employees, they're going to be wearing gloves like they always would be, but now with the addition of face masks as well. That is a requirement on site. We would recommend drivers and customers to do the same when they need to be in contact with an employee or another driver. A lot of our loading offices are closed to outside visitors and customers, drivers. So what we're doing in these cases is we've set up remote locations to place BOLs, whether it be closer to the loading bay, maybe nearby the loading office, but allows the driver to grab his BOL, still get the paperwork he needs, but not need to come into an office where he could be potentially within a certain distance of other employees, other individuals. Some cases where this isn't possible, we've gone ahead and installed the barriers that you would see at a bank or a grocery store or something like that, the clear plexiglass type situations. Again, just trying to eliminate that distance and keep our drivers, our customers, our employees kind of all safe all at the same time. And then the last one that we've stepped up quite a bit is their cleaning protocols. So, our offices are being cleaned multiple times a day, but we've also gone out to these communal locations, like our safety platforms, our Ssl kiosks, the things out in the field that multiple users may be touching, and added those to the cleaning list. So those are being cleaned again multiple times a day to make sure they're disinfected and they're safe. So what to expect when you're coming on to a Lafarge Holcim site, maybe haven't been here in a little while. Like I said, a lot of the loading offices are probably going to be closed. Most likely they have a means to get that driver and the customer what they need to get them loaded. There will be some increased PPE on site. So you will see employees in face masks, gloves as they should be. So that will be there. But ultimately, like I said, we've been open, we remain open. A customer driver coming in today will still get loaded with the same product, the same service that they've always seen in the past, just with a few extra little things to make sure we're safe and they're safe as well.
Thanks, Mike. I had one more question. We have temporarily during the COVID-19 suspended any training for SSL cards for any drivers and carriers to get those. When can you anticipate that training, for those guys to get their cards or those gals to get their cards, the training, proper training?
Yep. So we get that question quite a bit too. Actually, some locations have regained training. So basically what we had to do there, as Scott said, the new norm, we went from a pause to training until things, kind of went by, and it's obviously shown that that's not going to happen, not anytime soon anyway. So what we've had to do is take our requirements for the training, basically what we hope to achieve by doing that SSL training, to make a person capable of loading. And then we've had to take the guidelines to be safe during the pandemic, and we've had to put those two together. And depending on how sites are laid out, that's a little different for each site. So I know some sites have been able to do that now already, and they've been able to go back to training. Some sites are still working through that. But again, as we adjust and become, more capable in the new norm, I think that's coming very quick.
Benoit, so the industry is changing, and companies are doing a variety of different things to safeguard their customers and their employees. So what are some of the things our customers are doing in your market to address this?
Yeah, thanks, Derek. That's a good question. The industry's had to adapt very quickly, right? In many states, not all, there's been some exceptions, of course, but in many states, the construction industry was deemed essential. All our customers have had to adapt quickly to meet the needs of their customer. We're very appreciative for everyone's effort to adapt quickly, and even adapt to some of our own changes, our own policies. We're in trying times for the broader construction industry. There's no doubt about that. I think we've seen various changes and innovation in small ways and big ways, depending on where you are in the country. As we all know, some states have been more affected than others up to now. I think though that some of the things that we have in place already can be very, very helpful to our customers, and also, for example, the portal that we have in our cement business that we refer to as direct access is an excellent online tool that allows access of bill lightings and invoices. Possible to make payments on this portal as well. And so it's a way that some of our customers that have started using this portal, I've really appreciated the interface and the benefits that it gives their office people, and really truly reduces touches with less mail and less, and just another way to reduce point of contact. Mike's already touched about at our terminal the auto hatch program that some of our customers have really appreciated in recent years. But now with COVID-19 and it's even more important to have a device like that on a pneumatic tanker that allows drivers to stay in their cabs or not have to climb the safety rack to open the hatches. And so these are things that we had put in place just fairly recently before COVID-19 came around, but there are certainly ways to help customers reduce contacts and reduce touch points at our terminals, or just generally in the way of doing business. A couple other ideas and a couple other things that I've come across, Derek, just personally. I know some ready-mix producers have basically started using single-use pins for when deliveries are made on construction sites, to make sure there's not this exchange of pins all day long when drivers make multiple deliveries. The use of gloves for drivers in some cases. Of course, social distancing in some of the ready-mix plants in the lunchroom or in the break room. A lot of that now has become commonplace. Also, if you think of other segments in the industry, places that, customers that produce concrete block or a hardscape block, a lot of times we'll have a showroom for people to come in, either contractors or homeowners to come in and look at different color, split face block and different colors and different color brick. And these showrooms, and obviously in some cases people touch the product and people want to access the showroom. And so in some cases, a lot of customers have implemented kind of a 1 or 2 person at a time in the showrooms, kind of a capacity restriction a little bit. So people have actually even added on kind of an outside window for people to make payments and being able to interact with their office staff, but yet being able to conduct the business from outside the building in a way. So I think overall the industry has been very innovative in our own way, and all of these various things have had to come about very quickly in the last 90 to 100 days. I would say, Derek, as you well know, the state associations or even PCI or the Portland Cement Association, the NRMCA are very, very good resources for anyone in the industry to try to learn from each other and learn what's working, and even in some cases they're offering webinars. And so I get another example of good practices and good good guidelines that can be implemented and by using what the Portland Cement Association or the National Ready Mix Concrete Association puts out.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. They're a great source.
Yeah, that's great. Benoit and Derek, I really enjoy hearing about how companies being so innovative with the things they're coming up to help protect themselves and their customers and everybody involved. And even when I hear about, single-use pens, and it could be a red cup and a blue cup, and your clean pens are in the red cup, and when you're done using that pen, put it in the blue cup, put a little sign on it. They're basically, cost neutral type ideas. One thing in particular, just in our office, we were trying to decide how we were going to manage people going in and out of the bathrooms, and we're going through all this. Oh, it's going to be this light scenario, or we're going to have to hang this thing, or this whole very unique infrared pressure mats. Who knows what we were going to come up with? And the end result is just exactly what you see here on the screen. We just put up 3 hooks for people to hang their badges on when they're inside, so you know exactly how many people are inside the bathroom, so we can make sure we're keeping that social distancing going at all the time, in all places throughout the entire day. It can be almost a cost neutral idea. Your ideas don't have to be expensive.
For sure. Yeah, it's amazing how so many simple things can lead to a big, for sure, during this time. So, well, I want to wrap it up. Thank you for listening to our webinar today, and we hope this helps. We appreciate your business and hope you have a healthy, safe, and successful 2020.